It's Triple Crown here, Saturday, August 17th, 2024, back at the Westchester show. My first time setting up since the National. It feels kind of weird that I went that many weeks in a row without getting a table or two and setting out my cards, but here we are today, ready to rock and roll. Have 5 showcases full of cards, mostly baseball and football, but a couple of other little things mixed in there. Also have plenty of space down here to look at some stuff to potentially buy, some stickers to hand out. Lots to get to today. Let's jump right into it.
What's going on?
I owe you some money.
You do?
About that Ingram. Dig.
That's right.
And you like
Do you have
$10 by chance?
It should. Let me check.
Sometimes when I show things in the videos or even sometimes on Instagram, I'll have people reach out and try to make a deal with me ahead of the show. That was the case here for this Mark Ingram and TRPA. Really cool with the fleur-de-lis logo patch on there. I think I showed it in the last video. We ended up making a deal for it. I actually sold my Burrow downtown to the same gentleman as well. So you never know what might come from it. But yeah, if you're ever curious to see what I'm getting in, usually it shows up on Instagram before it shows up on a lot of the videos.
That Bobby Witt card's sick, bro. That's cool.
I need to look up what game it's from.
Yeah, I would look that up too. I always do, and I have one of those cards that has a stamp on it.
This is a similar Bobby Witt card to the one that is referenced there in the video. That's the 2023 version. I have the 2024 from the brand new museum collection. But in essence, the same type of card where it is a game-used base relic from a game in which Bobby Witt Jr. played. You can actually take that little hologram, look it up on MLB.com authentication services, type in the code, and you will get information on what game it is from. I really like cards like that. I've kind of talked about this before as what I like to call good showcase cards. They might not have the most margin for me to make something on them, but cards like that are attention grabbers. Someone walking by might notice that it stands out from some of the other cards that are a little bit more run-of-the-mill, if you will. I usually like to keep a couple of cards like that in my case because at the very least they're good conversation starters, they're attention grabbers, and you never quite know what they may lead to down on the line. But yeah, I figured I'd talk a little bit about that Bobby Witt card because it was really cool, and I actually ended up selling it later on in this show.
Sorting boxes. They were just
Let me see your Reggie there. I can look at it.
And again, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
She's a beaut. Could be yours.
You got a room of 4?
Right. How are you?
Sorry, you're offering 4?
4? Yeah.
Let's do 420. All right. The centering on it for a 69, impeccable.
Dude, I haven't seen one better, man. I've looked at some lower grade ones, but I mean, they're still high, you know, even like some lower grades.
Yeah.
Say 420?
Yes, sir.
Just send me 20 like that. I got a lot of 20s.
I'll take them however you want to divvy them out.
I've talked about this before, but one of the things that brings me the most joy about selling cards full time is getting cards into the hands of people who will really appreciate them, who have a great passion for them. Perhaps it's something that they've been looking for quite some time. All of those criteria fit the billing here for this Reggie Jackson deal. I picked up this 69 Topps Reggie probably about a month ago or so. I've kind of posted it here and there online for sale, but I think this is the first show I've actually brought it out at. It was gobbled up pretty much immediately by a gentleman who has done quite a few deals with me. I thought it was a fantastic example. I've owned several Reggie rookies over the years. That one was the nicest one, albeit it is the highest assigned grade one I've ever owned, being a 6. But still, I've seen some 4s before, or I've owned 4s before of cards where they're actually nicer than some of the 6s I've owned. It's one of the crazy things that I love about vintage is that there's so much variance in the grades. But you don't have to take my word for how much cool this card is. You can also take the word of Rob, the gentleman who bought it from me, because he actually did a pickup video from this card show on his channel. If you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But you can hear him talk about the card a little bit more in detail there. So thank you again, sir. I always appreciate your business, and I'm really glad to see the card go to a good home.
How's it going? It's doing well, thanks.
I don't know if you've seen any steers. These Spencer steers.
Just autos or anything?
Probably preferably auto.
Yeah.
Only thing I
Preferably
have
like a
is-
numbered auto.
It's not autoed, but it's numbered.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's the Sterling I'm talking about. I remember it, man. I just...
One thing I've actually stopped asking since I first started setting up at shows years ago is, are you looking for anybody or anything specific? Which may seem kind of odd. That seems like a good question to ask someone who is looking at your display cases. But the reason that I do that is, well, it's really multiple reasons all in one. First off, a lot of people will tell me that they're just browsing, which I totally get it. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking to flip. There are people who genuinely are just going into the show to walk around, see what jumps out to them. They don't have anything specific in mind they want to pick up. Maybe in the back of their head there's things that they might be interested in, but nothing that they absolutely have to have or is on their wish list for the day. I know I've done that before. It could be a little dangerous for your wallet, just walking in with no expectations or no criteria for what you want to buy, but I've definitely seen it happen before. The second part of it is, usually people will tell me if they're looking for something. You heard that gentleman there mention Spencer Steer autographs. I had someone else ask me about some cheaper Joe Burrow cards. I had someone else ask me about Yankee Stadium Legacy insert cards. All of those were people who reached out to me on their own volition. They did not have to have me ask them or prompt them, hey, what are you looking for? They usually tell me. That's why I don't really ask that question anymore, is that most people who are looking for something specific, they're very vocal about what they're looking for.
Yeah, I got plenty of stuff.
You do 15 on that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me know if you want to sell it. You got nice stuff, man.
Thank you. I thought of you when I bought this card.
Oh, Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's
it's a-
exquisite,
yeah.
a really good player. I figure that's right up your alley.
It is. I have it. But it is, yeah.
Nice looking cards.
Yeah.
Something else that's a little bit different from when I first started out is not pigeonholing myself on certain cards. What do I mean by that? It means not buying cards specifically to move them to one individual or at a specific show, unless I know for certain that it's going to move to said individual or at said show because I have something prearranged. The reason that I've kind of stopped doing that is because when I first started out, I would have this idea in my head that, okay, if I buy this here, I could take it to this show and probably sell it. Sometimes that works out. Sometimes I do keep that as an idea, but I don't want to bank on solely one out, if you will, for how a card is ultimately going to get sold. Because usually when that happens, you're going to end up holding the bag on a card. For example, here, I might have thought of this particular gentleman who I've done many deals with. He has a fantastic collection on this Brandon Marshall card, but as you see here, he already has it. So if I was fully depending on him to be my end user on this card and my end buyer as well, well, now I am kind of in a bad position then. But it's a good card. It's an exquisite RPA. That's why I ended up buying it. So something that I've kind of learned throughout the years is trying not to buy something with one specific focus of where it's going to go at the end of the day.
Here.
Yeah. One of these has a bad corner. I can't remember. I think it's the Cruise. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's the Cruise.
Catch up with you. I better catch up with Martin before he spends all his money like his kids. You know.
Jackson Merrill?
All right, man.
No Jackson Merrill.
This looks like all new inventory to me.
It is.
Okay. The Lattimore.
I do have a little bit of an advantage having fresh stuff because it has been a month since the last time I set up, but normally when I'm doing shows, I'm setting up consecutive weekends. Sometimes I'm doing 2 shows in the same weekend, as I'll be doing here in a few weeks' time. That does pose a challenge because a lot of times in the Midwest there is a lot of overlap. Some people will travel to go to shows, even if they're just someone who's a collector walking around to buy. Sometimes they'll make a weekend trip out of going to some place such as a Shipshewana or one of these regional shows, if you will. But even your monthly local shows, if you want to call them that, such as Xenia or Westchester in my neck of the woods, you do have a lot of the same people looking to buy cards. That's why it's so important for me to constantly have new inventory, because it will de-incentivize people from wanting to come out to these shows every weekend if they're not seeing new cards out there. There are some dealers who I know, and this isn't to pick on them, who have had cards in their cases that I remember since the very first time I ever set up at some of these shows, which goes all the way back into late 2019 in some of the most extreme cases. To think that someone still has cards in their showcases at the same price as pre-COVID times as at times kind of wild to me. But I want to make sure that I'm turning things over just to make sure that people realize, hey, there's going to be new cards here. There's going to be things that I didn't see last weekend. That way they feel like they're seeing new stuff and getting the most out of their show experience, which I'm sure the promoters also can appreciate as well because they want people to attend their shows.
Is that Bryce Young numbered?
Out of 175.
Or is the white numbered?
I think that's out of 35.
Is it? U380.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with how this show is going to this point in time. This particular deal put me up around the 2,000 mark in sales for the day, and we're still, I guess, maybe an hour into the show at this point in time. I've had a lot of clips that I've recorded here that just didn't make the cut into this video. But I'm selling a lot of cards, not even necessarily of your big name QBs. Yeah, I did sell that larger Trevor Lawrence there. Sold a Joe Burrow downtown earlier on, but I'm selling names like Jaire Alexander, Deron Bland. I'm selling guys like Tyron Smith. Not necessarily your hobby darlings, if you will, but quality cards of guys who maybe don't have as many cards or aren't getting as much attention. To me, that is a good sign that people are interested in some of the things that I think are cool. Other people are also thinking are cool, and the people who come up to me regularly at shows are satisfied with what I am providing them. Their purchases provide me that feedback and also the compliments that I've received. You heard a gentleman earlier on tell me I have nice stuff. I got that compliment a couple of times, which is always nice to hear. I try to put out some quality cards and again, try to make it worthwhile for people who come to the shows, regardless of what your budget may be. I say quality cards as in some of these really high-end Joe Burrows that you see in the case. But it doesn't just mean those cards, it also means the $10 stuff, the $20 stuff, the $50 stuff. There are ways to get good quality stuff at those price ranges as well. Quality doesn't always equate to price.
Grab some cards?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Figure something out. Let's do the Justin Jefferson.
I'll go ahead and let you grab what you want.
Maybe the Nico. That's good there.
All right.
Both the India autos.
It's not a 75?
Yeah, that one's a 1 of 75.
One.
If you're a bookend guy, I know some people could not care less. Some people absolutely get enamored over that.
Throw the Michael Thomas over there. $10, whatever. How much room we have on it?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
I'll tell you, I had it at 1,000. I've turned down 850 several times.
Turned down 850?
I did.
That Justin Jefferson card is one that has been asked about a lot. If you can't really tell what it is from the video, it's the Optic Rated Rookie Autograph Blue. Those are numbered to 75. Mine happens to be number 1 of 75 from 2020 Optic. It is also a PSA 10. To give you an idea how rare the 10s come up for sale, there's only been 2 public sales of it that I could find in the 2024 calendar year. Before that, the previous sale was on PWCC previously, now Fanatics Weekly, in April of 2023. Suffice it to say, the PSA 10s do not come up for sale too often. Now, that's a card I have had that 850 offer on many times, which I would take that offer if it was bundled together with other cards, but most people just want to buy that one. I've had some people tell me, well, I'm paying you full comp on it when they've offered on it in the past, because the last sale on it was in June for $855. But normally when I get that message, that to me says that we both know it's worth more than that last sale, because usually when someone tells me, oh, I'm paying full comp, they know pretty darn well that it's probably worth a little bit more than that. And the last 2 sales were for $940 and then over $1,000 on it. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit more protective over that one, but I'm willing to talk.
You take 9 for all of those? I know that's a little bit different. I'm trying to get to 800 on that card somehow. Just can't do 950 on it. These are probably, what, 20 bucks, 20 bucks. I have no clue. That's probably fine. That's still rookie. These are probably right around, right? Like 50, 55, 50, 55, yeah. And then like 40.
I tried to make it clear that my Jefferson number was going to be 900, but I definitely can't do 900 and then throw in all those other cards for free that I basically have around 140 in sticker value. So we're going to have to try to work something out a little bit differently on those.
Like 1,025. I couldn't get to 9.
That's more than you just offered a second ago. Hold up. 850, 9,015. That's $10 more. Hold up.
My bad.
I was like, that doesn't seem right.
I haven't done that in a while.
Like, where did my
so
math just screw up?
105, 155, 160. Okay, that's where I was.
And if I were to pay 100% comps on these, it would be, what did I say? 55, 60, 140, probably 150 bucks. There's 100% comps on that. And then I think the last two were a while ago, but they were, one was a little more, one was a little less, if I remember correctly. And saving the fees, let's just say it was 900. It's still, that's under 800 after that 87%.
I know that I would be firm at 850 there. These I could do like 140. So 990 together.
Admittedly, that math blunder was a little bit embarrassing. Those things do happen though, and glad we were able to figure it out kind of quickly. In terms of the fees argument on the Jefferson though, there's a couple things that I'll have to disagree with on that. Number one, there's no guarantee that I would get the number that I'm asking for on eBay. It could be more and it could also be less. There's no guarantee that someone would be willing to give me my number. But even then, if I was selling the card on eBay, I know what I want to end up with it after all the fees are taken out. Therefore, I would probably try to get a little bit more for it on eBay and perhaps set that new comp, since everybody likes to go off of that. But that's kind of why I am hesitant to come down anymore on the Jefferson. It's also a consignment card. I'm always going to try to look out for the best interests of those who consign something with me. Therefore, I know that I've been offered $850 on it repeatedly. I feel very confident that I could get that offer again. That's why I'm not really willing to budge as much. If it was something I had sat on for a while, sure, I would abandon ship on it, but it's a good card. It's been asked about a lot. I'm not going to give up on it just yet.
What did you say? How much for it?
140.
That's fine.
All right.
They end up just taking the other stack at 140 and passing on the Jefferson. Seemed kind of disappointed or mad that I wouldn't come down on the blue Jefferson auto. But again, like I said, it's a good card. I felt like my price was fair. I didn't feel like it was unreasonable. I mean, I was basically $5 below the last sale on it. On cards like that, sometimes that's a pretty good offer. But that card actually gets sold in what will be part 2 of this vlog. So I'll see you guys later in the week for more content from this show. Until then, take care, stay safe, and be kind.